They kept asking, bring the punishment, bring the punishment. Why is it taking so long? Allah says when it does come, when He does gather them, they're going to say, we didn't live on the world, we didn't live we didn't have labath in the world, meaning we didn't stay long term in the world, except maybe an hour of a day, min al-nahar. Min al-nahar. In the nighttime or in the daytime, the day goes by, the hour goes by quickly because you're busy. So it's like we were just doing stuff and then the day was all over. The life itself was over like that. يَتَعَارَفُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ. They'll be recognizing each other. They're getting to know one another on Judgment Day. These guys. The kuffar too, like, tribe leader? That guy? Oh, you? And they're just beginning to recognize one another. قَدْ خَسِرَ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِلِقَاءِ اللَّهِ. Then those who had lied against the meeting of Allah have already fallen into loss. وَمَا كَانُوا مُهْتَدِينَ. And they were not going to be ones that will be committed to guidance. وَإِمَّا نُرِيَنَّكَ بَعْضَ الَّذِينَ. Then it will be told to those who did wrong, ذُوقُوا عَذَابَ الْخُلْدِ. Taste the punishment of permanence. You see that taste you got right now? It ain't going anywhere. It's not going to get better. You're not going to get used to it. It is permanent. هَلْ تُجْزَوْنَا إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْسِبُونَ. Have you been compensated with anything short of what you earned yourselves? وَيَسْتَنْبِئُونَكَ. Now when they heard some of this serious warning, some of them, for like a moment, they would have a crisis of faith. So they would come to the Prophet ﷺ, يَسْتَنْبِئُونَكَ from naba'a. Naba'a means news. Istanba'a, to ask, to get news. One of the words for asking in Quran is istanba'a. Right? So وَيَسْتَنْبِئُونَكَ, they come and seek news. Like they're serious for a moment. أَحَقٌ هُوَ? Really? It's for real? Is this for real? Now what's the normal sentence structure? أَهُوَ حَقٌ? But they're so like shocked at this point. They're like, real? It is? Seriously? حَقٌ هُوَ? قُلْ. Tell them. How do you say yes in Arabic? Na'am. But when you yell at somebody and say yes, you say Just Of course. Yes. It's an authoritative yes. وَرَبِّي. And I swear to my master. One of the few instances in the Quran where the Messenger ﷺ is swearing by Allah. And Allah is telling him to swear by Him. قُلْ وَرَبِّي إِنَّهُ لَحَقٌّ. It truly is. It really is the truth. You're not going to be ones to overpower this message. You're not going to be bringing this message to its knees. Ajiz, someone brought on their knees. Someone made incapable. This is also a review of Surah At-Tawbah. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّكُمْ غَيْرُ مُعْجِزِ اللَّهِ. Now you had better know you're not going to be overpowering Allah. And way back in Makkah, Allah had already called it, you're not going to be overpowering this message. وَلَوْ أَنَّ لِكُلِّ نَفْسٍ ظَلَمَتْ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. If for every person that did wrong that person possessed everything that's on the earth, لَفْتَدَتْ بِهِ. Some ulama say why it's mentioned مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ, not الَّذِي فِي الْأَرْضِ. Ma, because there's so many treasures in the world that we know about, and there's so many other treasures we don't know about. The known and the unknown treasures together were in the possession of the wrongdoer, laftadat bihi, so that it could ransom those, give in ransom for those for his own self. Now that shafa'ah is cancelled out, the only thing left is to give ransom. If nobody's going to come and pay for your crime, if somebody's not going to come and shield you from the punishment, maybe you can pay your way out of the punishment. Maybe you can pay the fine, pay the penalty. If you had the entire world and all of its known and unknown treasures to give in penalty, وَأَسَرُّوا النَّدَامَ, and while they're giving it, they're hiding their shame, their nadama, their regret. A regret over a bad deed is called nadama. Why? This is actually criminal psychology. When a criminal is giving the fines, he feels like now he has no reason to be guilty. Well, I paid for my crime. Right? And by the way, if a criminal looks guilty, like in court when he's testifying, if he looks guilty, then the jury looks at that and says what? He is guilty. Why does he look that way? So he has to try to hide his guilt. The criminal does his best to hide his guilt. وَأَسَرُّوا النَّدَامَ لَمَّا رَأَوُا الْعَذَابَ, when they saw the punishment, because they think they might have a defense. لَقُضِيَ بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْقِسْطِ وَقُضِيَ بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْقِسْطِ, and their matter will have been decided then with justice. وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ, and they're not going to be wronged. Last ayah before we take a break. أَلَا إِنَّ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. You had better know. Allah alone owns whatever's in the skies and the earth. أَلَا إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقٌّ. You had better know the promise of Allah is true. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. However, most of them, they don't even know. They have no idea. The promise of Allah, the one that's being highlighted in this surah, Judgment Day warning constantly, and the messenger is being told most people